Hi, welcome to Doodle Club. In today's video we're going to draw Vanny from Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, sticking to how I've been working in some of my recent Doodle Club videos, we're going to use a smaller sketchbook and thinner pens again today. So let me show you exactly which materials I'm going to use. We're going to start off, this is an A5 Art Gecko classy sketchbook, so a lot smaller than I usually use, but yeah, it's something I've used in like some of my more recent ones. Recent doodles. So there's another Five Nights at Freddy's character there. Really liking the way it's working out, so I'm going to carry on using this smaller sketchbook. To participate, there's a couple of materials you will need. First of all, you'll need a pencil. We are going to throw on just a few little guidelines at the start of the session, and then what I'm going to use is a brush pen. It's good for any kind of like lines of varying weight or varying thickness. Also going to bring in a 0.5 and a 0.1. These are all Unipin pens. Brush pens also very good for colouring in as well, so you get loads of colour out of that. Probably the 0.5 is what I'm going to use most of the time. 0.1 I'll get into a little bit later for some of the extra details that we put in. But yeah, let's start at the beginning. Usually the best place to start. And we're going to go and put the head shape in. So the head's nice and simple. It's just going to be a circle with a little triangle off the bottom of it. The main thing to remember is don't go too fat with this, because we are going to have two floppy ears either side on this character. So let's go for a circle. About that kind of size. Now don't forget, I'm going quite dark with my pencil lines so that you can see them. You don't need to go this dark at all. Just keep it so that you can see it, and that will do nicely. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one line in, which is going to help us with the symmetry, because this character is looking directly at us. But I don't want to put the line going straight down from top to bottom. I'm going to have it at a little bit of an angle. So let's just go all the way through, and a little bit at the bottom as well. All the way through the centre. Like that. I mean, you can see on mine actually it's a little bit further to the right than it is to the left. That's no big deal. I'll get away with that. That's not too far out. What we're going to do at the bottom though, just you're bringing this line, this symmetry line, a little bit further down. What we're going to do at the bottom is just going to add a little triangle going from one side of the circle to the tip of that triangle. Nothing too steep. Well, nothing too sharp. Don't want to bring it all the way down here because this is the mouth. So just up there is nice enough. Okay, halfway up that circle, let's go and put two great big circles in for the eyeballs. These two circles, they're going to touch that central point, and they're going to be just a little gap away from the outside edge here. So something like that. Like that. Now again, I'm going dark so that you can see these. You don't need to go this dark with yours. Right, they're all the guidelines you're going to need. So as soon as you've done all of that, get rid of your pencil. Go and grab your 0.5 marker pen, Fineliner, whatever you want to call it. And this is a good time for me to remind you, actually, if you are drawing a bit bigger, if you want to draw on an A4 sketchbook, if you want to draw on an A4 piece of paper, or even A3, just get a fatter pen. That's all you got to remember. Just get a fatter pen with the bigger sketchbooks. Okay, am I close in enough? I might be able to zoom in a little bit more. Actually, let's see how close. There we go, much closer. That's better. So we're going to go start with the eyes first. Okay. Now with the eyes, we're going to take two slices out, and we're out of either side, and we're going to go from one side of the eye to the other side of the eye. So let's go from about this point, look, a curve out to that point. Okay, once you've done that side, go and repeat the kind of same thing the other side. So you kind of want to move across there so you know where you're starting, and then a curve out that side as well. So you're getting almost two symmetrical curves just by checking where you're starting from using that symmetry line, where you're finishing from using that symmetry line. Okay, once you've done those lines, decide how big those eyes are. If they're too big, then you want to put these next lines on the inside down here. If these eyes are looking too small, then put these next lines on the outside. Okay, so my eyes are looking quite big. So what I'm going to do is now just put another line in here, look, from the same point going out to there. Same kind of thing on this side. Starting at that point and going out. Right, last bit. Let's finish off these eyes, or the main lines of these eyes anyway, just by taking a line around the bottom half of the eye all the way around to there. Look, same on the other side, all the way around. That's good enough for our eyes. Okay, let's quickly go and just double line it first. So if you remember, double lining is just about making the lines twice as wonky. Don't think about this bit too much. Just go and chuck that double line in. But once you've done that, what I'd really like you to do then is go and really make this inside line much thicker. So let me show you. Starting there, it's okay for it to be thin down there, but as you get towards the top, let's just make it much thicker, that line. Not only that line, let's make this line as well. Let's make this one a little bit thicker as well. Not quite as thick as that one we've just done, but a little bit thicker. It's going to go all the way through out the other side. Similar kind of thing on both sides, because this is where the eyeliner is going to be, so that's why we're going a little bit thicker with this line. And then eyelashes next. Let's go and put some eyelashes in. You want to get big with these eyelashes, massive with the eyelashes. So we're going to have the first couple probably going outside the head. Let's go over here. Look. So you know that thick line that we've done? Let's continue that thick line. This time it's going to flick up there. Look. Big eyelash. Going all the way outside the head. Nice and big. Let's go and do another eyelash. Let's try and make this next one go outside the head as well, shall we? Again, nice and thick. Let's start about there. Just outside the head there. Let's put a couple more, but let's start making them a little bit smaller now, so as we're coming out here. Bringing those eyelashes a little bit smaller as we go along. If you find that you've gone too big in the middle, you can always make the outside one even bigger. But I like that. That's good. Let's go and do something similar on the other side. So the first two eyelashes are coming all the way outside the head there. Now what you'll notice with me is that this is like the opposite way around to how I need to flick. You want to use your fingers or your wrist, the natural curve of your fingers and your wrist, to flick that across so you get a nice tapered finish. Might be a little bit difficult to do if you don't turn your paper around. So just get your paper into a comfortable position. That's not too bad. Just throw in a few little eyelashes. Look at that, really powerful eyelashes they are. That's what we want. Okay, final bit on this eye is on the pupils. Let's go and put the pupils in. So again, use the symmetry. We're going to put an oval pupil in. Let's get about there. Look. An oval pupil with an oval reflection. Something similar on the other side. Oval pupil, oval reflection. What the hell? Let's flick out a little line down here as well. Look. Just to give our our character a little bit more, a few more wrinkles in there. Awesome. Okay, let's go and get into, what are we doing next? Let's do the mouth next. So obviously this space down the bottom here, this triangle down the bottom, that's where we're going to go and put the mouth. What we're going to do first though, the mouth is all going to grow out from the nose. So again, use this symmetry line. Let's go and put a nose in here. About here, I think. A little reflection in the top. Colour the vest in. How's that looking? That's not too bad. Just going to bring it over this way a little bit more. So I'm going for quite a round shaped nose there. You might want to change it to a more triangular shape, depending on how you want it to look. Now my suggestion here is for this next bit we use the circular pencil line as a little bit of a guide for where this line's going to hit. So the first thing we'll do is bring a line down here, a central point, just bring it down a few well, not even a few centimeters, just a few millimeters there. Just bring it down a little bit, and then we're going to draw a line that goes from this part of the circle to this part of the circle, but it's going to hit that little line in the middle. So look, just here, not right on the edge, not where this line is, because we're going to outline that. Just bring it in a little bit, and then we're going to jump and loop up. Same kind of thing over the other side here. Look, just jump and loop up. Let's go and thicken those lines out, double line those, make them nice and smooth as they all join up to the top here. Look. Also at the top of that nose, let's just round that off. Watch this, look, just a little round bit there. Little curve there as well. Just so this mouth and nose look a little bit more seamlessly connected. Okay, next bit we're going to do is bottom lip. So right back in here in this curve where we just started, don't start right on the end there, just bring it in a little bit, and we're going to go down the mouth to this central point and then back up the other side. But as you get to this central point here, we're just going to make sure we curve it round a little bit. Okay, so from there, look, let's go down, curving it round into the other side, and again just bringing it up slightly on the inside. You don't really want to be touching the end of that line if you can help it. Okay, that's good. Let's go and put in some teeth now. So again, using that central point. Now we've got our mouth and we can decide how big we want these teeth to be. So I'm going to put the teeth in there, double line all of that as well. Doesn't matter too much if we double line it though, because we are going to colour the back of that mouth in black. So let's quickly do that. I'm using my brush pen for this bit because there's quite a bit that needs colouring in. I don't want to show any more teeth than that. He's using the brush pen on its side. To get the most coverage. There we go. So one thing I can see, the mouth just looks a little bit wonky to me. Yeah, you see how we've got a big black area this side, whereas between the tooth and the edge of the mouth it's not such a big black area that side. So I'm gonna use my stiff nib again. I'm just gonna change the shape of that mouth a little bit. Just bring it a bit more over this side. Like that. That looks better. Let's maybe bring that tooth in a little bit as well. Much better. Okay, last thing we're going to do up here in the mouth, or two more things we're going to do up in the mouth. One is let's just put a little line across here. Just so it looks like those teeth are having I've got a little drop shadow being caused by the lip there. And then let's just chuck in a couple of whiskers. A couple of three either side. And we will put some like bigger whiskers in later with the thin pen, but just those little whiskers in there for the time being are great. Okay, our character's coming along quite nicely. Next up is the head. Let's go draw around the head. We're going to follow that pencil line all the way around. The only bit we're going to deviate from is the point in the chin. Instead of going to the point, just curve it around, similar to this curve that we've got for the inside of the mouth. So let's go and do that next. So follow that head round, curving on the lip there. Let's go around the other sides. Now don't forget, your pencil line is just a guideline. If it's not quite perfect, then deviate from it a little bit until it is just perfect. But let's go and double line all of this as well. There we go. It's looking good. Fabulous. Let's colour these bits in. Don't forget to colour these bits in. Which bit is that? It's really strange that sometimes I can see more on camera than I can in real life with the little bits that haven't been coloured and stuff like that. There we go. Just thicken that other side out, because this side just looks a little bit thin to me, so I thickened that out. This side I had a few gaps, so I just filled those in. Still got a few gaps up here. Let's fill those in as well. Okay, let's get downstairs and do some ribbon work on our character. So let's move down a little bit. We'll do the easy bits first, which is just the tail end of the ribbon, I guess, which is just going to look like that. So we're going to do two of these. There's one. And then let's do the other just here, a little bit longer maybe. They're the easy bits. Then we're going to do the loop part of the ribbon. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. 4 parts to this. First part is we're going to put a loop out. So from about here, look. Let's put a loop out all the way back again. And we will come back and colour that bit in a second. Second part though is just take a little line from here. It's going to go all the way around and then a little flick down that point. Third part is from this line. Let's go across there and then deviate and come back into that point. Fourth line is a little flick in the middle to make it look like it's a little bit more gathered. So just there, look. Let's give it a little flick across. Let's colour this bit in. And then you'll be able to see what I mean, how this has worked. So first line was that loop, which we're just colouring in now, the whole of the bow. Second line was like the edge of the bow, so we're just curling it round. Just there, curling it all the way around. Third line was giving the bow that 3D look by just bringing the edge of the bow out. Fourth line, that little flick in the middle. Nice and easy. Let's go and do the other side loop. So down here, let's do a loop first. We'll colour that in. There's our loop. Second line, we're going to start on the inside this time. Look, all the way around. Little flick. Third line, coming from there. Let's curve it and then let's bring it, a bit of a bend in there to bring it back home to the head. That bit where it's joined the head is a little bit more gathered together, it's pinched together more than this bit, so to symbolise that, we just flick the pen out. Right, hopefully you've got that. Let's colour in the hole first and then we're going to double line all of it. So hole coloured in, let's start double lining. How's that looking? Pretty nice. You might want to flick out a little line in here as well, look. Depending on how much you want that bow to look like it's gathered and tied in a knot under the chin there. But that's a nice looking little bow. Let's go into the final part of the bigger elements of our character, which is the ears. I'm going to zoom out a little bit for this bit, because these ears are going to be quite floppy ears. So you ready for this then? What we're going to do, we're going to start on the top of the head. Start at the top of the head, we're going to do the outside part of the ear. So we're going to go up, we're going to go across, and then we're going to do a wobbly line that goes down the bottom here. Once we've done that, we're going to come back up. From this point here, we're going to come back up to create like a bit more of a triangular shape. And then we'll finish with the inside ear there. Okay, so let me show you. So from about here, look, we're going to go up, we're going to go across, and then we're going to go down with a bit of a wonky shape. We're going to bring it back up again. So we're going to curl around here. We're going to make it look a little bit more like it's a triangle. As you get to the top here, a little flick in. See how we're getting that triangular shape as we're coming up to the top. We're aiming for that first bend that we did there as well. So remember, we went up and across. That cross bit is the fold of the ear. So when we bring it back up, when we create that triangle and bring it back up, we need to aim for that little fold, or that bend that just precedes the fold. Okay, 3 more lines to finish this off. Let's take a little line. So just come back on yourself here. Take a little line to there. 1 line there. Then create the inner ear. Look, 2 more lines just there. These 2 lines, ideally you want these 2 lines kind of pointing to the other bend, the bend at the end of the fold. So that line there is the fold of the ear. So you've got these 2 lines pointing over there, these 2 lines pointing over there. Easy, right? Let's go double line all of that. Let's go and make it nice and wonky. You might at this point want to change the shape of it. That's the good thing about double lining. It can help you change the shape marginally, not too much, but just marginally. There we go. Keeping it wonky. Strong intersections at the bottom, at the top. It's where the shadows live normally. That's why you go a little bit thicker in those areas. That looks pretty decent as an ear. Right, let's try and do the same kind of thing on the other side, but just make it a little bit wonkier this time. So remember, we're going to go up, add the fold, and then a wonky line down. Okay. So let's go up, add the fold, and a wonky line down. That fold line just there, look, that's the important bit. So you're going up, across, and down. No kind of sharp points in there. You don't really want to see any sharp points in there. I'm going to keep it nice and thick. Okay, let's bring this triangle back up. So from the bottom here, as we work our way up, we're trying to make it wider and wider and wider, so more of a triangle. But don't forget, we're always aiming for this part where there's the start of the fold happens. Okay, so rotate it round. Something like that. Just aiming for that top corner, a little flick down just as you get there, just to kind of reinforce the fact there's a little fold there. 3 more lines for the inner ear, so remember that line into there. 1, 2, 3. Not forgetting that these 2 lines, you kind of want to have them pointing towards the other end of the fold. Okay, this looks pretty good, so let's go and outline it, double line it, make it nice and wonky. This one is a lot more wonky than the other one. Generally, if I've done a line that's too wonky, I mean, I don't think there is such a thing, but if I've done it too wonky, what I'll do is I'll just go back to the other side and make that a little bit wonkier. This one doesn't look too bad actually, because these thick bits here kind of work with these thick bits here and here, so I'm okay with that. I'm going to leave that. Let's double line the rest. Cool. Ears are looking good. Okay, last little thing we're going to do with our thick pen before we go on to a thinner pen, add a little bit more detail, is, well, let's just recap, see how it looks. That's not looking too bad, is it? Quite nice. What we're going to do is we're just going to make our character's head look like it's coming out of a crack or something in the wall. So let me zoom back in again to about there. So kind of start at the top here. We're going to draw a crack that goes from there, goes down to this kind of point somewhere. But we're going to make it wider and wider. So, but kind of, there's your start point, there's your finish point. I've marked them in. Let's go with it. Now, we're going to make sure the head fits in. So as we start this crack, just go with a random zigzag line that's kind of heading out towards the edge of the head here. So it's coming into there, and then it's going to be picked up at about here, about this point, so it's probably going to go through the bow. So let's have it now, this side, let's go from into there, and let's have that line going like that. So you've seen we've drawn this zigzag line right from that top point to the edge of the head, right to the bottom point. Now what we're going to do is we're going to draw that zigzag line again, but this time we're going to shift it over so it hits this line instead. So that line, you see the way with this zigzag is kind of going out, in, out, in, out, in, out, that kind of thing. We're going to do something similar, but we're going to head over here. So we're going to repeat that first 2 lines, long and then a short one. Long one, short one. Second line, we've got this long one again and a short one. So let's do long one, short one. Next bit, we've got a short and then a long, so let's do short and then long. Going into the ear now, so we can make that disappear. In fact, this is aiming over here, so I might just have a little bit of it showing just there. Okay, let's go and do the bottom part. So same kind of thing. We want to just mimic, reproduce those lines, the angles of those lines, but just go in a different direction. something like that. There you go. We've got a bit of a crack appearing there, which is looking pretty good. Let's leave it like that and just colour that bit in. We'll add a little bit more detail to that. We'll add some more cracks, but we kind of want to see what the main thing looks like first before we decide what tweaks need to be made. So here we go, just colour it all in black. I'm using my brush pen now, just so I can get it done a little bit quicker. And you can already see whether you start making a bit of a judgment call. Are these shapes looking okay or not? Don't completely judge them yet, because you kind of want to see it mostly finished before you have a proper think about whether you want to change stuff. I see lots of people unhappy with their artwork halfway through. Most artwork looks pretty terrible halfway through. You've got to wait till it's finished. It can still look terrible when it's finished. That does happen. But yeah, try not to judge it halfway through. Judge it towards the end. There we go. So we're just colouring in all these gaps. Getting in between the ribbons now. Pay attention to colouring the right bit. It's very easy at this point just to accidentally colour in the wrong bit. So take your time on it. So that technique that we've just done about how to create this big crack in the wall for the head to come through, that's all about just having somewhere to go, some kind of tactic behind your crack. Whereas now what we're going to do, now we've got something in there, now we're just going to take a little scan back and think, right, okay, what's working in there, what's not working. And actually I quite like it. One of the things we will do then is we'll just go and add in like a little flick just there. Let me zoom in even more on that, shall I? Just the top here, look, just adding in little bits where you kind of just there, look, maybe little cracks in there. Let's put one on this side as well, just a short one on this side, because I don't want it to interfere with that ear. But you see how that's looking much nicer now as well. Let's bring it down a little bit. We've got a little bit just there. Let's go and put a little crack in there as well. Same with this bit. It could be that this one, look, we just take it off in a different direction as well. Let's move down. What have we got down here? That one probably needs one. How's that looking? That looks quite nice. I like how that looks. Those extra little cracks. This bit down here look well blunt. So let's sharpen that up. Fab. Crack is looking good. Okay, home straight. Home straight, it's all about adding some details on here now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my 0.1 pen to add these extra little details on. We're going to put some little stitches in on our character. So with these stitches, we're going to throw a line all the way through the character, and then we're going to put some stitches around it, okay? So let's go and do this ear first. I want to make this ear look a little bit fatter. So the line, this is with my thinner pen, look. The line is going to come off the top here. Go down to the bottom like that. But then work your way back up. Putting some stitches in. A little cross every now and then. See how that works? Looks pretty decent. Let's go and put some stitches in on here as well. Let's do something on the other side with the ear. So let's do the same kind of thing. That line that just kind of gives the fold a bit more thickness, like that. Really like that. Throw in some stitches, a little cross every now and then, sometimes too close together, sometimes gaps in between. Want it to look random as much as possible. But across the top of this ear, let's go and again reinforce the thickness of the ear. So it's almost like this bit is kind of like going down, this bit is going across. We're going to reinforce that with this. So watch this. Look, what we'll do is we'll have a little line coming up there and going down there. You see how that line, by putting that line in, it's just given that ear loads more shape. Stitches in there as well. Inner ear stitches. I'm going to put a big scar going through the middle of the head and across the face. Okay, so it's going to start over here, up here. It's going to aim towards this eye. It's going to go through this nose area and then finish off down the side of the mouth here. Okay, so let's start there, aiming for the eye. Curl it round to about there. That looks good. Put some stitches on that as well. At the top here where it joins in, let's just kind of round that off a little bit. Look at that. What a difference that makes. Just taking that, bringing that line in just a little bit. Maybe we do the same on this side here as well. Just bringing the line in just a little tiny bit. Over this side, let's join the eye. And again, just to reinforce the shape of the character, let's put the line as a bit of a curve like that. You see how it just makes that part of the eye now look a bit shapelier. Add some stitches in, and we're doing good. Awesome. All right, let's get into the top. We're just going to put in some little triangular shapes at the top here that we're going to hash out. So maybe just above, see where these circles are. Just put some little shapes in, little triangular shapes, little lines in there as well. Kind of like those. Let's have a little bit more fun with our character. So any more stitches, any areas that you want to put more stitches in, go and do it now. Only has to be fan art, doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. So let's put some stitches in there. Some little pluses in, look. You can go with anything you want on here. Little quote marks, little hashtags. Just to kind of finish that area off. Put some little quote marks in the bow as well, look. Okay, let's go and put some whiskers in. Now with these whiskers, I want you to be as wonky as you can with these whiskers. Okay, so starting in at these points, just jagged, horrible little lines going out like that. See how wonky you can get them, how horrible you can get them. Just a little flick off at the end as well. Stick with that pen. What we're going to do now is just going to go around the outline of our character, and we're just going to add some like rough bits to our outline. So watch this, look, just going around the outside edge. Almost like little cobwebs and things. else? Yeah, that looks all right. Maybe go around, flick off a few little lines as well, especially where you get these natural bends. So like on the edges of the ear, so got all these natural bends coming up, just there, just there. Just use that as an opportunity to flick the pen out a little bit. Back down the bottom here, look, that's nice. Okay, let's chuck in some little hairs sticking out. Again, you just want to have a little bit of fun with this character. I'm going to finish off with maybe just a few drips here and there, and then we'll put some spots in. There we go, some drips. Look. And characters always look a bit more gruesome with these little drips added in here and there. Back with your fatter pen, your slightly fatter pen. Let's just go and throw in some little spots everywhere. My suggestion is do some bigger ones. Clump them together in 2s and 3s. Do the bigger ones first. And then just go and find some little gaps, do some smaller ones. Where else? So I just did a few that were off the page there. You wouldn't have seen those ones. Let me just zoom out a little bit. See what I mean? Just a few down right down the bottom, a couple right up the top, and I think I'm going to leave it like that. I like how that's turned out. So a quick signature to finish off. Sign it if you like it. If you don't like it, put somebody else's name on it. And then yeah, on yours you might want to kind of rub out some of the pencil lines. I like leaving the pencil lines in, mainly because it reminds me how I drew the character. So if I ever draw it again, I've got those rough guidelines still kind of sitting in there. And to be fair, you can barely see the lines, even though I drew quite dark. You can barely see that line that goes through the middle, that circle line. The eye lines are probably the ones that you can see a little bit. So yeah, feel free, rub those out, leave them in, totally up to you. But there you go, that is Vanny from Five Nights at Freddy's. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you in the next video.